Okay, this is Coach Dez here. First on the board, this is playoff weekend. It's the Chargers versus the Texans. As you can see, I broke it down from rushing to passing. I got first quarter, second quarter, all the way through. So let's talk about the Chargers versus the Texans. Well, the Chargers on offense average 27.9 runs per game. Passing to the right, they are strong at 60.3% pass completion. Down the middle is 74.8% pass completion. To the left is 59.4% pass completion. He's been sacked 47 times, 4 interceptions, and there's been 22 forced fumbles on offense. Defense, on the other hand, gives up 25.8 runs per game. They give up 59.9% passing down the right, 57.7% passing down the middle, and 63.2% passing to the right. But the defense has sacked the quarterback 48 times, 18 interceptions, and 12 forced fumbles. The Texans, on the other hand, their offense, they average 26.3 runs per game. To the right, he has a pass completion of 57.6. Down the middle, 60% pass completion. And to the left, 64.2% pass completion. He's been sacked 55 times, 13 interceptions, and 18 forced fumbles with 1 safety. Defense, on the other hand, gives up 26.3 runs per game. To the right, they give up 57.7% pass completion. Down the middle, 56.1% pass completion. To the left, 55.4% pass completion. They have sacked the quarterback 51 times, 20 interceptions, and 21 forced fumble along with 1 safety. So there could be a safety in this game. So we're going to break this down so that you can understand what I have done. So first quarter, my son does first quarter parlays only. So if you know that they're going to get these yards, now I'm going to break it down. Chargers average 6.3 carries in the first quarter with 27 yards. The Texans average 5.7 rushes in the first quarter, averaging 22 yards. Second quarter, Chargers average 8 carries for 30 yards. The Texans average 6.9 for 30 yards. For third quarter, Chargers average 5.9 carries with 21.6 yards. The Texans average 5 for 21 yards. Chargers average 7.7 carries with 32 yards. The Texans average 8.6 with 35.9 yards. So, again, Chargers overall will have about 28 carries for 111 yards. The Texans will have 26 carries for 109 yards. Okay, for pass, the Chargers average, I'll say 6 for 8 passing on 64 yards. The Texans average 6. They're 6 for 9 for 63.8 yards. Chargers in the second quarter average 7 for 11 for 72 yards. The Texans average 6 for 11 for 71.4 yards. In the third quarter, the Chargers average 4 for 7 for 46.6 or 47 yards. And then the Texans average, I'll say 5 for 8 for 50 yards. The fourth quarter, the Chargers average 8 carries for 32 yards. The Texans average, I take that back, I'm on passing. The Chargers in the fourth quarter is 4 for 7 for 39 yards, and Texans is 5 for 8 for 46.8 yards or 47 yards. So the total yards for the Chargers on passing will be 20 for 32 for 222 yards. That's what their overall average is. So total, they will have a 333 yards total. Texans will have their 21 for 35 for 232 yards. Their total will be 341 yards total. So with that being said, and this game is played indoors, they are not affected by the weather at all. This is going to be a good game. So the question is what is these halftime, all of that's going to be, the scores you're looking at? Well, I'm going to tell you this now. I'm going to put this sheet down. The Chargers, I told you about their sacks. I'm expecting them to get 3 sacks and 1 fumble. And remember, I said there may be a safety in this game. The Texans average 3 sacks per game. I see an interception and 1 fumble. So I'm going to post just like this so you can see why it takes me so long to do this. So I'm looking at the Chargers having a sack in the first quarter along with a fumble. The Texans to have a sack and a fumble in the first quarter. The Chargers and the Texans to have a sack in the second quarter. And I tell you why. Oh, do I have that paper here? I think I do. Okay, the reason why I said that the sacks and the fumbles. Now, the Chargers have they have 11 sacks in the first quarter, 11 sacks in the second quarter, 11 sacks in the third quarter, and 14 in the fourth quarter. And if you look at my sheet, I have them for 1 in the fourth quarter. Now, they have the most interceptions in the third quarter. And I think I put that, I didn't give them a fumble. An interception. But they do have 10 fumbles in the first quarter. And that's the reason why I put that in the first quarter. Now, the Texans, on the other hand, he has 14 sacks in the first quarter, 12 sacks in the second quarter, 12 sacks in the third quarter, and 17 in the fourth quarter. So that's why there's a sack in the fourth quarter. He has the most fumbles in the third quarter. Interceptions in the third quarter. And I think that's why I put the Texans as interception in the third quarter. Now, fumbles is evenly, because they have 5 in the first quarter, 5 in the second quarter, and 5 in the fourth quarter. So I think that's the reason why I put it in the first quarter, because there's the possibility. But it could come in the fourth quarter because they do have a safety in the fourth quarter. But the Chargers have a safety in the first quarter also. So what is this final score going to be? Here I go. I have first quarter. These are all averages. Chargers average 5.1 points per first quarter. Texans is 5.5. I think this game will be tied in the first quarter. Second quarter, 8.2 Chargers average. Texans average 7.6. This game will be tied at halftime. Third quarter, 4.3, 3.8. Tied in the third quarter. Fourth quarter, 6 and 4.9. As you can see, this score is so close. 24 to 22. I think this game is going to go into overtime. I have the Texans winning this game. I don't know why it's out of focus. But you can see I got Texas winning this game in overtime. With that being said, peace out.